G'day and welcome to the Inforunners. My partner in crime today is Seer the Six. Long time no smell. It's been sorry. It's been a while.
I smell fine.
Yeah. What have you been up to, man? It's been a long time. Well, God, I think it's been over 12 months since you and I did an episode at this point.
Yeah, I've been extremely busy with my business and with Boeing. I actually switched jobs. I no longer work on the tanker program. I actually work on the P-8 program, which is the P-8 is just it's a plane that launches torpedoes, and it's an anti-submarine, anti-ship plane for the Navy. And I work in a lab now, and I do a lot of the server blade things that CIG talks about. So my day-to-day life now is swapping components and swapping server cards and doing a lot of the troubleshooting, but in a lab instead of on the actual airplane. So now I can actually speak from the server side of like the blade switching and Star Citizens that they want to do. So I now have that experience under my belt.
So this buyer's guide's going to be a little bit different than normal because Seer actually hasn't had a chance to look at the whole sea, but he's probably the biggest logistics guys in the Inforunners group of the actual content creators. And so we're going to have a look at that, and I'm going to show him what I think of it, and then hopefully at the end, after he's had a look at it, he might be able to tell you what he thinks about it. But he's been asking me questions already about how it loads cargo and things like that. So I'll cut it over in the game, and we'll have a walk around and a talk. And of course, it's not going to come up on my screen. There it goes. Oh, I'm going to move my screen slightly. Hang on. Oop, fixed it. Right, cool. Let's go. Right. So this is his first look. I did put a skin on it, Seer.
Very nice. Ooh, that gray military skin.
Right.
That's what it looks like to me.
In the comments, I would like to know how long you reckon it takes him to realize, and you'll know what it is later because everyone knows what I'm talking about except Seer. We'll see how long it takes him to realize. I don't reckon it'll be too long. We'll see.
Are we talking about the skin?
Nope. Don't worry.
Or
it'll come up. Everyone else is laughing right now. Don't worry. You'll figure it out. It's fine. It's cool. Yeah. It's got some interesting textures.
The cargo? I mean, where's
So it's actually it's closed up at the moment. So it's actually got to open.
The main cargo, the loading hatch. Like, how do you get in?
So we get in here at this elevator over here. We'll go up in a second.
All right, I think I saw the docking collar. It's on the side.
Yeah, there are docking collars as well. This landing gear actually
the landing gear.
Yeah, it actually it rolls in, and then so it kind of like double rolls. It's kind of interesting. Like it goes up and then rolls in. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I get that.
Really big engines on it. Surprisingly, it's got a bit of negative space to it though as well.
What are those red things on the back? Are those fuel bags?
Not too sure. It does have an interesting engine room. We'll go through all that. Actually, we'll probably go through the engine room before we take off. There was a
Can you actually go to the front of the whole sea? I just wanted to see the front.
So that's the
I didn't see the actual flight deck. Yeah,
that's the docking collar.
I didn't see the actual flight deck unless it's just really high up.
Yeah, well, yeah, we'll go in there and have a look, but yeah, that's it there.
I mean, it is MIC, so they do have that crappy freaking bounty hunter visor looking flight deck.
It is an older design as well. It feels very the closest ship in design wise is Starfarer.
I actually like. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind like most airline pilot like airlines, commercial planes, they have like that visor. It's thinner compared for your horizontal and your your vertical and your horizontal plane of field.
Well,
I'm still trying to figure out what you were talking about that everyone's laughing about.
That's all right. You'll understand in a minute. You'll figure it out. Don't worry. So this is my first gripe with it. I don't like how the elevator is not centrally located and goes all the way to the top. And so basically you've got this ladder that you got to climb. You got to climb this ladder to get to the second floor, right?
So what's on the first floor?
So this is
this looks like escape pod.
So this is where the docking collar is, and there's actually suit lockers. So there's one for each member of the crew. On the other side, I do want to show you the back at first though, but on the other side, that's where the escape pods are, right? Upstairs is the living quarters and an engineering console. We'll look up there when we get back. But this is the corridor that extends. There are airlocks on each side. So this is an airlock, right? With maintenance in each little thing. Come on, open. Why are you not open? And so this corridor actually extends, but I think there's a real missed opportunity here because they didn't put actually anything in the corridor. They could have put, like there could have been a docking collar in here or something in the middle, but I don't know.
Probably because it's the most complex part of the ship that actually extends. They're like, nope, don't put anything in it because of collision.
Yeah, I think that's why they haven't. They wanted to make easier. So this is the engines. So
that's beautiful.
Yeah, they're very nice.
Excellent. That is very excellent.
Yeah, this has got a really nice quick elevator, as well. You can also go up the ladder. It's actually 3 floors, but you'll notice when I click the button how quick it is. It's so we'll go up to the components. Very quick compared to other elevators.
Is this large or extra large components? Is this basically capital?
I haven't actually looked in a while, so it's been a while. This ship was actually a 2013 ship, so it's literally almost a decade in the making.
Cryzen Crucible,
yeah.
Cryzen Endeavor.
Yep. So they're pretty big. I'd say they're at least a large, which is what this takes off on the pad for. So it's at least a large components. So yeah. So I'll got the ladder on this one just to save the elevator. There is a little airlock up here as well on this floor as well, and this actually takes you out the back from memory, so you can actually EVA into the back of the ship. So we won't actually probably go out there because there's nothing there. But yeah,
except engine.
Yeah, except engine. So yeah. But I just want to show you the back because I don't want to risk. I'm sure it's probably fixed, but I just don't want to risk it at this point. It's just easy to show you where on the ground.
Don't risk it for the biscuit.
That's it.
But I like me some biscuits.
Mm-hmm. Okay. One more time.
Oh, so you're going all the way down. Okay, I see.
Yep. Because that's the only way to get back to the front. Is that tunnel. So yeah. So there's obviously an engineer that will spend most of his time up the back here.
Scotty.
Yep. But see here, this is where I think you could have put something interesting, like I don't know what it would have been, like a suit locker or a bit of,
like a tool bay or something.
So we'll go up here first. So up here is the living quarters. So that's why I don't like the ladder. I'm just not a fan of ladders. I've grown to kind of hate them in a lot of ways. They just make, well, maybe it's just initial, but yeah, you can sit in here. This is what controls, can control some turrets, control the tractor beams, and obviously when the MFDs change around, you'll basically, you'll probably have this one controlling one at the back to load and the other one at the front to load, and then when you go into combat, one will control one turret, one will control the other turret.
Are the turrets remote, or do you have to get in them?
They're remote. They're remote.
Oh, thank you.
In both cases. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I never ever really liked the concept of getting in turrets in Star Citizen. I love the concept of using remote turrets, like with the Valkyrie. The Vanguard, that's one thing I couldn't stand, is having to get into the back turrets all the time. Yeah. I like remote turrets. It makes more sense to me.
Shower, toilet, bathroom for everyone.
Looks clean.
Yeah, it's pretty clean, pretty big. Got some personal storage for everyone. So there's 4 personal storages.
Does it actually work, or is it just aesthetic?
No, I'm pretty sure they work. I'll go back in and show you. So they just do this now, or they used to. They just open the inventory.
Because I knew they did the physicalized inventory a while ago.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay. Well,
beautiful. We're about to get a big update on that. It's about to go, like, you've got to walk up to everything and use it. So it's going to go from this global bag of holding to individual things. So yeah.
I thought they already had that. Very interesting.
Yeah. Spartan accommodations, as you can see, just 4 bunk beds. Reminds me a lot of what we saw on the Idris, actually. Those and Reclaimer, more bunky. But the first time we've ever seen them flat up against a wall like that. There are some controls in there for lights and stuff. Pretty good kitchen.
Yeah, just a nice standard mess.
There is a blast door, but it wasn't openable. Well, at least I can get it to open unless there is some. Let me know in the comments below, guys, if you've managed to get the blast door open, but I've yet to get it open. So yeah.
Right. Random question, but does the game actually run a lot smoother? Doesn't feel as funky for you?
It is it's the best it's ever run. It's the first implementation of DirectX 12, so it's actually running. Oh wow, running really good now.
Excellent.
And a bit of Vulkan in there as well.
How's server-side object container streaming and server meshing going? I know they did like a very basic of it.
So they're hoping to get still hasn't noticed yet, guys. Maybe he will in a minute. Should we tell him? Should we make it obvious? Yeah, let's make it obvious. Here you go. What do you think of this?
I know, it looks like a penis.
Yeah. That's what I was asking. How long did it take you to realize? Say it. Yeah.
Dude, I was in the Marine Corps. I know what it looks like, but I wasn't going to say it for the term of just... I didn't think that was the thing. I mean, it's a space dick. It's a space schlong. There's
been calls from certain people to get them to redo it. It's that bad, but we'll see. So, yeah. We'll see. I think it's a
It's
little
not
bit
their
over the
fault
top.
that we all have. It's not their fault that
Oh,
we
look,
all have a perverted mind.
It's even ribbed for her pleasure and everything. It's crazy. So yeah, I don't know. I think they could probably, you know, maybe move some of these engines down a little bit or something like that, reshape it slightly and change it. But it was a lot worse on the PU because the shield, when the shield turned on, it literally cut. It made it look
Look like a condom.
no, it made it look like the head of a penis because it cut right through on the tip of the tip of it. It was really funny. So yeah.
So it's the space schlong.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, I'll try and get this land gear up before we take off so you can get a nice look at that. So yeah, as you see, it goes up and then she folds in. Front one just goes straight up. But yeah. All right.
On a like standard commercial airplane.
Yep. It's very bulky. It flies very similar to the Starfarer in that regard. Yeah, this will be your first time seeing Lorville too, so he hasn't been around in a while, guys, so he's got a lot to catch up on. So they redid this earlier on in the year. All the train lines have been redone, which are that kind of light blue color you can see in the background. It's actually...
Yeah, the teal.
Yeah, the teal. And then it's got this very yellowy gold theme. I think the next one on the cards will probably be ArcCorp. So, but it's kind of caught up to Microtech now, and I think it's kind of surpassed it in a lot of ways. So yeah.
Microtech is nice. I did enjoy it. I love the music that they had with Microtech too. Lorville was just super depressing, like going in and seeing all the workers. Then you go into the high end, the luxurious sector. It's like, geez, it's like LA or any major city where you have homeless people on the streets just pooping everywhere. Then you got high end society right next door.
Yeah, that was one of the first done though. So you know, every baby steps.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see that you are literally just flying straight up. Do you are you able to warp directly to a orbital point around the planet, or do you have to fly to a certain height still?
Yeah, still got to fly to a certain height. So we'll get up to about, I think I can't remember the exact amount, but I usually go to about 10,000. But you can also just press B, and when all the little arrows turn blue, I just punched my microphone.
And Armistice Zone is gone, right? Like you could have just, you know, lit up Lorville.
No,
you wanted, right?
No, not yet. That is coming really soon, though.
Oh, so, yeah. Now I see that you're now in Armistice Zone. I thought that was gone.
No,
they talked about that like 2 years ago.
Yep, it's been very glacial this year, man. We've really only got the one patch this year. We've had, you know, a little updates along the way, obviously, but it's the first new code kind of patch. The last one was at the end of last year, so it's been a hot minute.
So 3.19 came out last year, the end of last year.
3.18, but then because people complained about there not being full incremental patches, they got rid of incremental patches. So what was 3.19 is what we're actually getting as 3.20. Should have been 3.19, but they changed it all because they were sick of particularly people complaining, content creators complaining. That it wasn't getting, they weren't getting full updates.
Was one of those content creators bored?
No.
Okay.
No, it was not.
Just curious, but
all right.
So far it seems pretty cool. I mean,
I need to get round to the light side. So what I might do is just so we can see this thing. Hold on.
Well, I think I'll already start saying this, like. The whole sea being like the biggest cargo ship we really have in game from like an industrial standpoint, like coming from a combat logistics background, this I would never be really, when I'm thinking about combat logistics or
it's not going to be combat logistics. I'll give you that.
Well, yes and no. Any ship can really be used for combat logistics.
It'll be a part of the chain, but it won't be on the front line.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like even the C2 and more importantly the M2, like and this is not me trying to shot fired at anybody, but like I remember again, and me and you had this conversation before we started recording, like when I made my buyer's guide for the M2, my intention was to never make people think that you're going to bring an M2 to the front of battle, like to the front lines where all the chaos is going. No, you're fortifying the front lines because you're just reinforcing everything. So like you have everybody on the front lines, the M2 lands into a relatively safe LZ. It may be hot, but it's not the front lines. so that it has a way to defend itself and wave off or fly away. And it's going to deploy tanks, or it's going to deploy troops to reinforce the battlefield. Now the A2, that's a different story. It's a freaking strategic bomber. You can tactically nuke something or somebody from the front lines if you want to. It's just like, again, you're a huge ship, you need support,
right,
and
you
yada
ready?
yada yada. So
You ready?
when I'm
You ready?
oh no, what?
Watch.
Oh, you're gonna extend. No, okay. All right, very nice. I bet people at CIG cried when they finally got it right.
Yeah, I reckon. So yeah, and
It looks like it's deploying solar panels, honestly.
kind of does. So these will stack 3 cargo containers high, and the main cargo container design for this is the largest one in the game, which is 32 SCUs that they've put in.
Right.
And it literally dwarfs what the Hercules can take. I think it's like 4,600, and
yeah, of course it's going to dwarf what the Hercules can do.
Hercules is like 650, so it's literally like 4,000 more, roughly. And I know my numbers are not exactly right.
I'm happy that it dwarfs the Hercules, because literally the Hercules is a multi-role platform. This thing's sole purpose is to haul cargo. No different than like the Orion. The Orion is, as far as we know, the god tier of mining, unless some concept ship came out that I wasn't aware of. But I've been keeping track of most combat. Okay, so like, when you have a specialty ship, it is designed by CIG to be good at one thing. This thing is hauling cargo. It is the biggest and theoretically the best bang for your buck. If you want to do large scale commercial cargo hauling, then it would make sense to have a hull C. So that's just my personal opinion.
So guns on the chin. You can see the gun turret there on top, and there is another gun turret at the back. Those
no belly?
Yeah, no belly. But you can see just behind the turret, in front of the turret on the back, kind of like people call them little nipples or whatever. They are, and there's 2 on the bottom. The one on the back's going to be, what if I can roll it? Nope, I rolled it the wrong way. If I roll it the other way, just put a bit of light on it, you might be able to see it. Nope, I'm going to go into the dark. There we go. So there you can see the 2 on the bottom as well. They are the 4 tractor beam turrets. And so that allows you to load from
they're on
top.
the bottom. Okay.
No. There's 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom, but on both sides. So just behind the turret on the front, above your head on the video, you can see the one behind there, and then there's one below that on the bottom. And then if you go to the back, there's one just in front of the turret, and then one directly below that. So there's 4 in total. So you can load all the panels onto the all the cargo boxes onto the ship. Plus, the way this is really designed is for something like the raft to come along and load it like Sky Crane. So one of the things we were talking about before was, Seer was saying, I don't understand why you would take this ship over a normal cargo ship. And I was saying, well, I think most of it is to do with speed. He thought it would be slower to load, because they've said the more
cargo commodity timers.
And they did say that, right? But this will be sped up because it's external, not internal, like other ships are in a hangar. And so you can have bigger things physically help load it because it's outside. So you can have MPVUVs and the raft and things like that.
SRV or whatever.
Yeah, and when you're inside, you've only got smaller ships. So this if you are moving masses of cargo and that's the thing you want to do, the whole series is going to start to be where it's at. Because even things like the Band of Merchantmen, they're going to be...
It's all internal.
All internal, and that's where and that's where it's start to come about.
What this reminds me of is like, okay, so I can say this now. I used to work at Boeing Field, and at Boeing Field at in near Seattle, UPS was there, and I would see all the big planes. I would see MD-11s, which is the plane that has a huge engine on its tail, or I would see 767 wide bodies land there, and that's what I think of. I think of when you're loading cargo internally to something like an airplane, it's going to take longer because versus like the cargo, like the shipyard, which I could see from work because I could see the cranes from work. The ship pulls up and the crane is just moving boxes, just large crates, like in and out, in and out, in and out. And that theoretically, if you had a plane the size of a freaking a ship, it would be faster to do the external crate because it could just move more. It just, you're you're going by sea instead of flying, but at the same time you carry way more, and it will be way faster than loading all the cargo into these metal containers, then putting these metal containers into a airplane, and then you have to load them properly so you don't throw off the center of gravity, make sure they're locked down, and you can't fly with certain batteries, and you know all the sorry, hit my mic, and all the other regulations. So like when I'm thinking of something like this, I'm thinking of like what I see at a shipyard, modern day shipyard, where you're moving so much stuff. Again, like who would I recommend this for as of right now? I mean, anybody who in the future, because I always look long term, long range, longevity wise, not in the now. It's for anybody who really wants to get into a logistical role where you just need to move large scale cargo for either yourself, your org, or just you know, like contracting work. But there's also another issue with that. What's up? Before I go on the next one.
So the way it looks like the whole series is going to work is basically the A's and B's take stuff from the planet and deliver it up to the stations, and that's where the other whole series takes over. So the C seems to be inter-system. So this one at the moment, and like what it will probably be doing when it's finished, is just been going between the stations on all the major planets in the system. So it's just going around from station to station, almost doing loops, right? Then when you get to the D and E, that's where it really goes to inter-system. So you've kind of got this. It's very much like what we've got today with the shipping system, and then like the plane,
and then the trucking system.
Yeah, and then and something like the Hercules, where it finally goes into combat, will probably be similar to that last mile delivery. Where it switches over to a specialist of some description. So yeah, and you can see how it all works. There are advantages to all levels of that. So the A's and the B's are always going to be required because you can take a C, but a C can't land on planet. So
there's always a trade-off.
So the biggest...
It can, but it can't land with full cargo. Like that's the thing. It is not designed to land on a planet with the cargo. I mean, you saw it. There's freaking cargo extenders coming from the bottom. There's no way it can land without smacking the frame. It's designed to only be in space.
But that's what makes it really interesting, because it also makes it so things like the Banner Merchantman have a unique speciality where they can land on a planet. So they'll be going to planets that are more remote. This is the established route delivery vehicle where that is carve your own.
It's a give and take.
Yeah, carve your own path.
It's a give and take.
Yeah.
So I couldn't personally, for me, I can't in my mind classify or compare the C2 or the Hercules family compared to the whole series. And the reason why is because the Hercules was designed to do vehicle transportation first and foremost. This is purely cargo. And that's why I talk about the whole multi-role concept. We, like, even in the United States military, most of the branches, they want something that is multi-role, which is why they all chose the F-35. That's a different story I'm not getting into at all. But like what I'm trying to get at is that the Hercules family, purely a multi-role, but they're designed for smaller vehicle, ground-based vehicle transportation and some smaller ships, but it's really on the emphasis of transporting vehicles. And this is purely transporting the most amount of cargo it can from point A to point B. And just like you said, because you hit the nail on the head with the different tiers of logistics you have in the real world, it's the same thing here. The whole sea, it's just moving sheer amounts of cargo and from an interstellar transpoint, and then from the interstellar transpoint, it branches off into, okay, we now moved it to this station. We now need to move it from this station and move it to the ground or move it to a moon. So how do we do this? We use the whole A, we use the whole B, we use different ships that allow us to go planet side, planet side too, but go planet side and do what the whole sea can't do. So that's why, like, when we talk about why you would want a whole sea, you got to look at the whole picture on what the freak you want to use it for. Because if you're also hauling that much cargo, then pirates are going to be like, that's a lot of freaking money, especially when you can shoot off cargo pods and stuff. And like I remember doing a combat logistics video about why you would need like a hammerhead, why would you need the Vanguard Warden, why when we talk about long range, like why do I think we need these ships for something like this? Well, it's technically above me on execute screen, but for something like this, you need something long range that will be able to defend something like this, which is why I think it's perfectly acceptable to bring a hammerhead alongside a hull C, to bring a Vanguard along with a hull C, because if you have something like another hammerhead or something like a Polaris that comes out, or what's the other one, what's the basically
Perseus?
we call the destroyer, yeah, the Perseus. I have a CCU for the Perseus. This would be like prime pickings, like you know that meme we all see of that black dude behind the tree with the yellow vest on, he's like insert Perseus over his face. Like
it definitely is gonna need escorting. You brought up piracy too. One of the things is, I don't know if this is the best ship for the whole series to buy either, because it is the most common ship in the game. In lore, it is the most common hull series ship. It's the oldest of the line. And then they made the D and the E to go further, and the A and the B are the newest ones. In fact, the A and the B have a newer design to them, which is interesting. So we're starting to see with MISC there is this time period
we do
thing
have bigger
happening.
ships.
Well, no, just a time period thing where they have like a MISC Razor and the Mirai ships are newer.
Oh no. What I mean is we have the whole C, D, and E. Those are the flagships. I keep forgetting about those because I don't even see them coming out anytime soon. But like, well, let me rephrase that. When you start getting into the C, D, and E, you need an escort. You need a bigger escort.
Well, now the C and the C's out though. The D and the E are not as far away as they used to be, but I think the next one we're probably going to see is the B. Now we've got the A, we'll probably see the B next. So yeah, they're more better for now because of just having the one system. Once the second system comes online, maybe then we'll see the D.
Pyro's still not in.
No, hopefully. There's rumors maybe the end of the year, so we'll see. But what's your kind of recommendation for this? Who would you recommend this for, Seer? You're kind of in the middle of that when I interrupted you, so yeah.
No, it's okay. It's okay. So, okay. I'll be honest. I totally forgot we had the whole D and E still, and those two ships. Okay. Let's think of it from this standpoint. From the whole C to the whole E, you are locked and you only can traverse in space. You only can haul in space. From the A and B, you have the best of both worlds. So I think the biggest thing is, and this goes back to our episode of buyer's remorse, which I still remember doing. Like,
me too. It's coming more and more true, man. Don't you worry.
Exactly. Don't set yourself up for failure in this game. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I don't see a lot of content creators talking about is about, we talk about these ships, we talk about what they do, we talk about the now. I don't see a lot of content creators talking about the future. And if you are, then this is not a direct shot at you for any other content creators who are going to be watching this. Like, just in general, we have this whole thing of like CIG's marketing and throwing these ships out there because they know people are going to buy and they want to try them out. But we just got to understand from the standpoint of, what is the future going to look like for this ship? What do I want to be locked into a ship like this? Do I want more flexibility? What role do I really want to do in Star Citizen? Do I really want to only fly a whole C from point A to point B all day?
Well,
and will I be able to do that?
I think generally there are a lot of ships, if you're only getting one, it's your jumping off point. But for this one specifically,
I don't think this should be your only ship if you're starting off in the game. That's just my opinion.
Yeah,
it's a good ship, but I don't think you should lock yourself into only doing one thing.
I think it is a safe spaceship because you'll generally be in a safe system and just delivering things within that system. Much the same as the A and B, you just be going up and down from planet. It's not until you get into the D and the E that you're even considering going through other systems, and therefore more of the danger comes in. So I think this
then it's like, what are they looking for then? Like, you bring up a good point about danger.
You could start here with this and move out into other ships though. So you could start with this and then go every ship under this. You essentially can use this to earn fairly quickly. So I don't know.
Absolutely.
It is for a logistics player. I just think there are probably more fun options like you're suggesting, and that's why I went for the Banner Merchman over this as an example, because it allows me to explore a little bit. Allows me to do some more fine items rather than
Multi-role.
yeah. Well, you know how it's kind of more it's a bit luxurious, almost like an Origin ship in that regard. But you're probably selling more exotic items out of a Banner Defender, rare items, maybe even some illegal items. You know, where this is the safe bet. Right, so this is for someone that wants stability, and they don't want to risk anything. I think that's kind of where I land on this one.
So here's a question for you. So with when remember when they added what is it, Quantonium or whatever, the super
Quantanium.
high vol
Yep.
Quantanium.
Yep.
So is there any benefits in transporting Quantanium externally versus internally because of how volatile it is?
Not right now, because yeah, it blows up in a certain amount of time. I guess you could use this to transport it, but yeah, not at the moment. So it's the ships like Starfarers coming along, they'll actually have a mini refinery on them, so they're able to remove the volatility and stuff like that.
Are you talking about the whole sea or just the Starfarers?
No, I said that. So the Starfarers and refining in general. So you know how you got to get it to a refinery before it explodes.
Yes.
It's the same thing.
Yes.
There's refinery ships coming, and the Starfarers is said to be having that when it gets it. Refining comes in, it will get it. But they talked about it being able to remove refineries being able to remove the impurities. So basically, it'll. Long story short, just listen. Long story short is refineries remove the volatility from Quantanium.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just saying, I didn't mean you had a conversation like a year ago about how they were going to remove the refining thing from the Starfare, and that made a huge controversy.
No, they removed the
or the gas collecting.
It can no longer collect Quantanium.
Okay, yeah, you have to manually put it in there.
Yes.
That's what it was. Okay, it can still refine, it just can't collect.
Yeah, so say something like a mole or a prospector will bring their saddlebags to this, and it'll do the refining for them. So
yeah. Yeah.
But it's mainly the main thing of the Starfare at the moment is it is a fuel transporter, and eventually it'll be a gas
it's a tanker,
a gas collector. But we are getting off topic here. But yeah. But
I mean, it's still a MISC ship.
Yeah. But it's meant to be a buyer's guide for the whole sea, and we've already kind of gone outside the purview completely. But what is your final recommendation?
It's okay.
What's your final recommendation for the whole sea? Who's it for, and who would you recommend it for?
This ship, in my opinion, and only my opinion, so take it with a grain of salt. This ship is for people who, like you said, they just really want to do logistics in the safest way possible, where they can make money and do other fun things with other ships. This is solely a professional level ship. You are only going to be hauling cargo with it. So if you want more of a thrill, then you're going to have to get a different ship in game. Now with this ship, I'm assuming you can earn a lot of money real quickly. Am I wrong? Or like what's the money we can earn per hour on average?
We really don't know, because it's a bit buggy at the moment. But I think for me, if you were talking about like now versus later, right? I think there are going to be better ships later. I think right now, the thing that you get to see with the ship, and to be honest, if you have a Banner Merchman, this is a loaner for a Banner Merchman, so you kind of don't need it directly. But the exciting thing about this now is you get to see the kind of birth of cargo, or the cargo gameplay, because this is where it's going to be at. This is going to be the ship that they use to do that big amount of cargo.
42.
Well, in the persistent universe is specifically what I'm talking about. But like we're seeing the development right now. It's the first one to have cargo loaded in Thomas. You know, when the RAF comes in, it'll be the first one we see the RAF using it. It's about to get tractor beams in the next patch or so, in one of the incremental patches. So we're really going to see how cargo starts to develop with this ship, and that I think that is, to me, the real appeal of this ship at the moment. But as Seer said, when it comes out, it's going to be this safer bet, and if you want that safer security, it's the way to go. But as Seer said, I don't think this is the only ship you should own. It's the second or third ship you want to get, in my opinion.
It'll be if you want to make a sheer amount of money in Star Citizen, and you want combat logistics, or if you want to make money from a logistical standpoint, it makes sense to have the whole sea, because you kind of have the middleman between the rest of them. And execute. I'm surprised you didn't say this, but from a game developer standpoint, this is also a huge milestone because of just the complexity of the ship
Yeah.
and how it is able to expand and not break apart in a video game break apart standpoint, and how they had so many moving parts. Like, this is kind of like a milestone for CIG and their dev team. Like, hats off to them that they finally were able to get this out and do it the way that they anticipated. Sure, they ran into bumps and stuff, but this is just huge because this was all made with their own technology that they've been building in house for years. And that's something I think people forget, is that from a gaming standpoint, they're building the technology and then using the technology to build ships and to build other things in game. So that's like a lot of things AAA studios will build out years before. And like when you have Battlefield 3 come out and you have the Frostbite engine that was used to build the game. So they're building their own engine and then they use this engine to build other things. It's very beautiful. I love the design. Sorry, it looks like a space schlong. Like, it's whatever. Like, people will get over it. Like, to me, it's all about fit, form, and function. And I almost said aircraft. This spaceship screams that
yeah, definitely functional. I was just thinking,
exactly.
fellow Inforunners Space Tomato did a good video talking about the features of this ship and the new tech that has come in based around it. I remember him talking about it's the test bed for about 3 different pieces of tech.
Absolutely.
So the moving grids, the cargo, and the last one, I think it paves the way for modules, even modular ships.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
It makes sense because you're gluing things to ships and ungluing them to ships.
Well, yeah, that, but also you're taking cargo grids in and out of each other.
Sorry, that's what I meant.
Yeah. But yeah, so for me, it's the appeal of this ship is really more what it means to the game. And if you can get it as a loaner, awesome. If it does speak to you, I have no qualms about recommending. If you got it at, well, by the way, it went from $350 to $500. By the way.
Sweet baby Jesus.
Yeah, it went up $150. We recommended people pick up a CCU for it the last time it was available. I picked up 3 of them, and I'm looking pretty. So yeah, and I also have 3 Banner Merchantman
executed well.
Yeah, 3 original Banner Merchantman CCUs as well. So I've got my 6 chains covered that I've been working on. So yeah, but what would you like to hear from people below in the comments? Seer, I'll switch the camera back over while we're flying there. What would you like to hear?
I just think some general feedback of what they appreciate or what they don't appreciate. I think one thing that has helped me when I was starting out Star Citizen, and that I think people should keep pushing, is for that feedback. Even if it's more of the feedback of, oh, I wish it was more like this. I wouldn't say it's negative. It's more of constructive feedback.
Yeah.
I think it's warranted and needed. And as long as you can do it from a tactful or respectful side of things, then I suggest people give their feedback, because especially if you're one of the few channels that CIG is using to gift ships to other people, then obviously CIG as a whole watches this channel. So if that's the case, then I highly recommend people go in the comments and then leave their feedback, so that that you can bridge the gap between your opinion or your thoughts and to CIG, because I know they do listen, and while they can't please everybody, they still want that feedback, because we are the ones who are backing the game. Like, for the most part, we're the ones who are backing the game. So yeah, that's honestly what I think. I'm trying to get back into Star Citizen, but I don't know. I think people forgot about me, so I'm just fine being on the Inforunners.
All right, so just because Seer brought it up, I've just had a quick look in my hangar there. We have a Pirate Week Avenger there to give away that comes with a Solaris wind paint. So if you leave a message to Seer the Sixth, and I'll let Seer pick it. Best comment, Seer, that you like, you can pick and tell them that they want an Avenger. And
well, that's kind of blasphemous, because I can just type my own comment and be like, I like this comment. Just kidding, I'm not doing that.
I was gonna say, yeah, anyone be
the corruption.
Yeah. If it's like, I am not Seer the Sixth or something like that. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I'll let you pick a comment out of the comments below. And whoever does the best comment about the whole sea or something of that nature, whatever you want to pick, if they make you laugh, anything like that, we'll give them an Avenger with Solaris. It's a full LTI package there.
Ooh.
I would like to hear. It's really weird to look at this ship and call it plain, right? Because it's far from plain. There's nothing really like it.
It's multifaceted.
But this is kind of weirdly going to be the plain Jane ship of Star Citizen. It is the most common ship in the entire universe, apparently. And
it's the Ford F-150 of Star Citizen.
Or a Toyota Camry, or whatever you want to call it. Whatever, plain Jane. It's the Mary Sue. It's just that, that the most common
the
side,
daily driver.
Yeah, it's the normal domestic aircraft. It's a Cessna or whatever you want to call it. But the point I'm trying to get at is it's not plain to us, but to the universe it is. So I guess it's not going to appeal to everyone. And like you said, I kind of want to know what this ship does mean to people, because it might not be the ship for you, but do you recognize what it means to the game? Because it is a really big thing. We've been waiting 3, 4, what was it, 20? I don't know, man. It must be almost 5 years since they really thought about bringing it into the game.
This ship is a milestone. That's what people need to understand. Even if they don't like it, this ship is a milestone. It is progress. It is them. Like CIG does things intentionally, and they did this ship because it's going to be in Squadron 42. We know that, but there's tech that goes along with it, and this is like they're just building the foundation. They're building the cornerstone. So think of this ship as a cornerstone to the bigger picture that you generally don't see. So just think of it like that. That's the best way I can describe it.
So yeah, and there's obviously a really good test bed to see stuff that's coming along too. So yeah, especially with cargo coming, it was fitting. It really does need to be there front and center. And I think the A was the other part of that equation. I think with the A and the C, they can do everything they needed to do, because they needed a ship that could do the leg between planet and station. So yeah.
And here's the last thought: if you don't like it, you could just blow it up.
That's true. Have you? There's been a few people blowing them up above cities and just watching all the boxes rain down. So yeah, some nice videos on YouTube.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to plug your channel while you're here? I know you haven't done a video in a while, but do you want to? No? Okay, cool. No worries.
Nah, this isn't about me.
You can find him on YouTube if you want to find him. He's done some really good videos on. Well, he's an aeronautical engineer, so you can imagine.
Technician. I'm not an engineer.
Sorry, I got yelled at.
12 years of aviation experience.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. Yeah. I don't like saying I'm an engineer. It's a humility thing. Yeah. I just work on airplanes. I don't design them.
All right. With that, then, he's been Seer 6. I've been Execute. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.
Laters.